Hi, everyone, and welcome to this informational session on the 2023 DFFL travel teams for summer 2023 and specifically participating in Gable in October. I'd like to introduce some very special people who have put a lot of work into making this happen. I'd like for them to share who they are, kind of where they're coming from, their NGFFL experience, and we'll hear more from them about where we're going with this travel team stuff.
Awesome. So I'll start us off. My name is Taylor Spears. I'm one of the open team captains. This last spring, participated in our city league. And prior to the city league, I played in the travel team and city league in DC. So excited to bring that experience to this Dallas group.
And I can go next. My name is Alyx Scott. I am going to be the women's plus team captain this year. And I'm really excited. I'm one of the newest members to DFFL. Tawny was actually one of the first people to reach out to me once she realized that she wanted to create this league. And her and I are partnering together to build out a really strong women's plus team. So excited to learn more just about how we're going to be involved in the community and grow this organization.
And I'm Maurice Head, over 10 years of experience either through the Denver Flag Football League and now here in Dallas. And I've also done multiple tournaments for the NGFFL, either open or Gable, which we'll be getting to later in this conversation. Just here is one of your open captains like Taylor, and happy to welcome everybody.
And my name is Tawny Alonso. I'm the DFFL commissioner and founder. I'll talk a little bit more specifically about what DFFL is, but my role in the travel team process is really just to serve as a liaison between the City League of DFFL and these travel teams, specifically with the captains as they put in a lot of work to get these teams off the ground. But when it comes to my role on a team, I'm going to be just like everybody else. I'm going to tryouts and hoping to make one of the teams to play alongside of some of you and get this opportunity to travel and compete in some really great tournaments. So you've heard us kind of use these terms, NGFFL and DFFL. I want to give you the background on what those leagues are and where they kind of align in this whole structure of tournaments and travel teams. So the NGFFL, those letters actually stand for the National Gay Flag Football League, and they are a nationwide football league. If you think like the NFL, right, that has teams in different cities, we have that with the NGFFL, and they are positioned in several different cities, as we'll see in just a moment. But their goal, their mission, is to promote positive athletic and social benefits of flag football. And really building it into this idea of community with LGBTQ plus people and allies alike to combine sport, community, and serving to really create this awesome experience. So that is the NGFFL as a whole. It's sort of the larger national organization. They're very prominent, out and about, as you can see, very heavily involved with things that the NFL is doing, partnering with specific teams in the NFL and participating in like the draft, having these national tournaments that are sometimes sponsored or presented by NFL teams. So they're out there. They're very well known, not just in the LGBTQ plus community, but in the sports community as a whole. So this is kind of the NGFFL league map. Right now we have 26 chartered teams in different cities all across the nation, Dallas being one of them. And each one of these city leagues has their own identity, their own culture, their own kind of rules for participation and engagement under the larger NGFFL umbrella. So it's really exciting to see the differences between Dallas's league and what San Diego's doing versus what is going on up in Toronto. And it provides this really cool national and actually multi-country, if you think about it with Canada, experience for us to engage in the sport that we love, in the community that we love. So again, under that umbrella, DFFL, Dallas Flag Football League, is the NGFFL City League, city experience for the Dallas and North Texas area. We are brand new. It's very exciting. We were just founded in summer of 2022. So we're babies in the grand scheme of things. We're what you would call an expansion league. And we just completed our inaugural season in spring of 2023, just a couple of weeks ago. We fielded 6 teams with 72 players and had a really great time going out there, building community, and getting to know each other on the field and off the field. When we get to fall of 2023, when we'll run our second season, we hope to expand and field 8 teams and continue to grow that player experience as we receive feedback about what was great and maybe not so great from the inaugural season. But the goal is to continue to grow and have as much of a presence as some of the more established leagues like Boston or New York or Denver, who've been doing this for a really, really long time. We want to have that footprint here in North Texas, in the LGBTQ community and the flag football community for as long as possible. So Taylor, what is the deal with travel teams? Why do we have them? And, just explain to me a little bit about how that fits in the landscape.
Yeah, so what's great about the City League is you're able to meet people in your city. You play with them for, 8, 9 weeks, and then it's done. What's great about the travel teams is it's more a longer experience, and you actually get time with the same set of people over a longer period of time to really build that team camaraderie. You're meeting with them every single week doing practices. But then what's great is you're building up to all these different events. So the one that we're prepping for, Gable, coming up later this year, we're going to have time to gel as a team, practice as a team, and then be able to go represent Dallas and compete against different cities from all across the country. And the more you stay involved in the travel teams, you will start to see some of the same people from the different cities, and you can really start building those connections with folks all over the country. So it's a really great experience. So one, get more involved. There's a wide range of competition levels. When you go into these tournaments, you have some less experienced divisions all the way up to leagues and teams that have been doing this for years. So you can get really competitive, but you're also there to meet people and have fun. So it's a really great experience. So
Awesome.
Maurice, you want to talk about our travel teams that we're starting here in Dallas?
Yeah, Taylor. So for Dallas, where we're trying to hope to do is to represent DFFL on a national level when we go to tournaments. And to do so, we comprise 3 teams right now at the moment, which could grow just depending on how everything shakes up with everybody signing up. And like most cities, to represent the LGBTQIA community, we try to tie in a little bit of geographical history that goes along with it. So we have the Dallas Rough Riders, which will be one of our open division teams. We have the Dallas Demons, which will also be our open division second team. And we also have the Dallas Renegades, which is our women's plus team. So as far as history goes here in North Texas, we have the whole Fort Worth, big cowboy style trail and everything that goes on here. And we, as a united group, are the Wild Bunch, which kind of represents, if you know anything about your cowboy history, Really the Kid, Wild Bunch, Fort Worth, things can get a little crazy here in North Texas, but we kind of like crazy that way. And with all that being said, we kind of chose these team names to kind of represent that identity, that thing that we want to bring to represent North Texas to the national stage. So, for example, the Dallas Demons, we kind of picked for Willett he had multiple names when he would be doing rodeos, but one of his names was the Dusky Demon. So we decided to go with the Demons. That's just to kind of give a representation of what we represent here in North Texas and that pride that we're bringing here with the Wild Bunch, that North Texas pride, that Dallas pride, which leads us to our next point, which is what we are as Dallas group is the Wild Bunch. Like it, don't like it, but I kind of think it kind of represents our little attitude that we have here in Dallas. So as far as history goes here in North Texas, we have the whole Fort Worth, big cowboy style trail and everything that goes on here. And we, as a united group, are the Wild Bunch, which kind of represents, if you know anything about your cowboy history, Really the Kid, Wild Bunch, Fort Worth. Things can get a little crazy here in North Texas, but we kind of like crazy that way. And with all that being said, we kind of chose these team names to kind of represent that identity, that thing that we want to bring to represent North Texas to the national stage. So, for example, the Dallas Demons, we kind of picked for Willett he had multiple names when he would be doing rodeos, but one of his names was the Dusky Demon. So we decided to go with the Demons. That's just to kind of give a representation of what we represent here in North Texas and that pride that we're bringing here with the Wild Bunch, that North Texas pride, that Dallas pride. Which leads us to our next point, which is what we are as Dallas group is the Wild Bunch. Like it, don't like it, but I kind of think it kind of represents our little attitude that we have here in Dallas.
All right. So when we're talking about the divisions that exist within these tournaments and specifically Gable, because again, we're looking to specifically compete at Gable this year with opportunities to participate in other tournaments. One of those divisions is called the Open Division. This is open to all genders. However somebody identifies, there is a spot for them to play in the Open Division. They'll compete against other Open Division teams at Gable and at tournaments that have that division. There aren't any rules or requirements for how many players of each gender might be on the team or on the field at a certain time. So it is completely equal footing, all hands on deck, everybody participating for the effort to win that game. So at Gable and at other tournaments, you'll kind of see these different competition levels that Taylor alluded to earlier, where you have at the very highest level of competition, where you may see, former pro and D1 athletes, balling out and giving it their all, to the D League, or D level, which is more recreational level players, but want to get that tournament experience so they can continue to kind of climb that ladder and build to the ultimate goal of participating in an A-level team at some point in time. So we have opportunities across the board for everybody who would like to be a part of an Open Division team. As Maurice mentioned earlier, we've got the Rough Riders and the Demons. We are hoping to field 2 Open Division teams, and we hope that we have enough interest to be able to do that and take 2 teams potentially at different competition levels to see how they can play and how they fare against some of the nation's best. Alyx?
Yeah. And then on the women's side, we are looking to field 1 team called the Dallas Renegades. And really, when it comes to the women's division specifically, this was created to really separate and build out additional competition across all genders to make sure that we're building the best part of the community, which is growing people's ability to play football at a competitive level. And so when you think about the Women's Plus division, this is open to all female identifying or non-binary players. And this tournament that we're going to go to in the fall at Gable, there are 2 levels that we can play at, either in the A division or the B division. And the wonderful thing is that we get to decide which division we want to play in based off of how competitive we feel that we are. And the wonderful thing is too, let's just say that we sign up for the B division. If we show up, we show out on that first day, we have the ability to move into the A division and compete with those people that are at the top of the national level. Like I mentioned, we're going to look to field 1 Women's Plus team. And my goal is to be on the championship stand at the end of October. So I'm really excited about building this team out, and I want some strong players that are ready to build a strong team.
All right, Taylor, tell us a little bit about the format of the tournament and how it all goes.
Yeah, so it's a typical 7-on-7 format. So 7 on offense, 7 on defense. There is contact, so even though it is flag football, folks get after it, and they're really competitive. And so there is blocking, which we'll talk about in our throw arounds and tryouts and practices to get you guys ready. But it's physical. So it's not just, run around and just kind of throw the ball. We'll provide a link in our email blast with a full rule book so you guys can see if you are familiar with football. It's very, very, very similar, some minor tweaks. But again, we'll be covering all those in our practices and tryouts.
So I want to let these folks share more about the process that's ahead for trying out for the Dallas travel team experience and some of the important dates and just kind of qualifications and expectations to keep in mind.
So when it comes to really the next 4 weeks around the Wild Bunch travel teams, we're really looking to have 4 main events. The first one that's coming up would be on Thursday, May 11th. And really this is a social hour and a meet and greet that we're going to do at Bowl Games in Dallas at 7 o'clock, like I mentioned, on Thursday, May 11th. And this is an opportunity for you to meet us, to meet other players that are involved, ask questions, and also just have another fun, engaging way to understand what DFFL is at a greater level. And then after that, we're going to host 2 throw arounds because we understand that individuals who also did not participate in DFFL are going to be learning these rules. And this is an opportunity for you to, again, meet us, understand the rules a little bit better, get some tips and tricks for tryouts, then also just shake off any dust that you've had if you haven't played in a while. And then on Saturday, June 3rd is officially going to be our tryouts for DFFL. And it's really important for you to block out this date because this is going to be the opportunity for you to show up and get an understanding of the competition that you're going to be going against, as well as get an understanding of, if you don't make the team, how you can still participate and help build out this community. And so that's going to be at McKinnish Park on Saturday, June 3rd at 9:30 a.m. That's when we're going to start warm-ups. And that's going to be up in Carrollton. But with that, from here, what we're going to do is send out a full practice schedule once we have everything figured out. And then as you see on Saturday and Sunday with those throw arounds, we're still figuring out a field. So just stay tuned. Tani will be sending out email communication around all of these things, so you will stay in the know.
Thank you. So just a little bit about qualifications and expectations. What are you guys looking for?
Yeah, of course. So, Taylor and Maurice have talked about how, when you go to these tournaments, you're going to be playing against teams that have been together for 10 years, have built out strong communities. And it's one thing for us to get a team of superstars together, but it's another thing to get a group of people who are invested in building a community here in Dallas and building the foundation of what these travel teams are going to be and represent at a national level. And so really these qualifications and expectations were taken from other leagues of how they've built out strong teams and what we want to do. And so when it comes to the tryouts, if you aren't able to make it, what we really encourage is you attending one of the 2 throw arounds the 2 weeks prior. Again, if you still can't make any of those 3, please have a conversation with us because we want to make sure that if you're really interested, you have the opportunity to show us what you have to make the team. Next is really the willingness to commit financially to travel for the team experience. Building out this travel team, it's going to be about building out individuals that can travel for this. As you know, it's going to be out in Seattle. The ability to pay for jerseys, to also just expense everything that's going to happen throughout the season. We'll talk about those expenses a little later, but we'll also have the opportunity to fundraise as a team and as an organization to offset those costs. Again, if you need to have a conversation with us around the financial aspect, we're always happy to talk and accommodate where needed. In terms of active participation in practices, we are planning on holding around 20 practices throughout this whole entire summer and fall leading up to Gable. And again, like we said, it's about building a community and building out the ability to practice with teams on a reoccurring basis. So that way, when we do show up, it's not our first time getting together and we have the opportunity to compete at a high level. The next thing is engagement in the DFFL fall season. Something that a lot of other leagues do as well is if you are a part of the travel teams, you also are a part of the community league as well. And so what we are requiring for those who are looking to participate in the travel teams is for you to register for the fall season for when that comes out from Tani's communication. Of course, like we said, with building out teams, we want to build a community. And so attending team social events and functions outside of practices, we're also going to have dinners, we're going to have social hours, we're going to get together outside of practice and continue to build. And then really recognizing the importance of the team over the individual. When we go and compete at these tournaments, we are here to win at the end of the day and to represent Dallas at the highest level. And it's important as you come onto this team and you understand the tryouts, as you understand what it takes to actually step foot on the field, that you understand your role and that you will be happy no matter where you fall. And really that's what we're looking for in terms of the ideal DFFL Wild Bunch travel team participant. Again, if you need to have any conversations with us, we're more than happy.
So for the team makeups, across all three of our Wild Bunch teams, we're looking from anywhere from 14 to 20 players. Again, depending on how many folks try out and how some of these positions shake out, will kind of determine the roster of each team. But each team is going to have quarterback, receivers, blockers, center, rushers, linebackers, and DBs, and also someone who can kick. So if you're someone who knows how to punt or kick, please come on out because we're going to need that. Now on these teams, we are able to have a limited amount of straight identifying players on a roster, but we do require to identify 5 that will play in a given game, and then 3 can be on the field at the same time. So for straight allies out there, please come out, please try out. We'd love to have you guys, but just want to give you guys some background and some kind of rules that are set from the NGFL on roster construction. So for tryouts, again, on June 3rd at 9:30 a.m. we're going to start warm-ups. Really excited about, we're actually going to have some outside consultants come in and evaluate everyone as we're going through our tryouts. But we'll warm everyone up and we'll do some stretching, make sure everyone's loose and ready to go. And from there, we'll go through some 40-yard dash, some cone drills, and then we'll break up into position drills. So receivers, DBs going on one-on-ones. We'll have quarterbacks throwing routes. Rushers will be using their best, pass rushing move against our blockers. Defense, it's great if you're fast and can cover, but ultimately you're going to have to pull a flag at some point. So we're going to see who's got the, best hands out there. And then we'll get into some 7-on-7 scrimmages where we'll be able to go against each other. And again, we'll have folks that are helping to evaluate you guys. We're going to do tryouts for all 3 teams. So we'll be all in the same area. So again, 9:30 on June 3rd, be ready to go, and we'll get you guys stretched and start going through the tryouts.
So when it comes to estimated costs, Tani and I really thought about everything that would be included in this season and making sure that prior to you registering, prior to you committing, you understand the financial aspect of this. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to look to fundraise this season to offset costs and make it more available to those individuals that are interested, but may see this as a constraint. And so as you look through here, we have Gable tournament registration. Each player registers on their own, and it's at around $80 per player. Uniforms, we are very lucky and have hookups with individuals who make uniforms. And so it'll be around $35 to $40 a player. And really this reflects only the jersey. We'll have the opportunity to get shorts, socks, sweatshirts, things like that. But that's the main thing, is having the jersey. From there, there's hotel and lodging. Right now on NGFFL's website, you have the opportunity to book a hotel where everyone is staying and where the main group is. What we may do is if we have enough people and we find a house or something on Airbnb, everyone could go together, lower the ultimate cost. And then also with airfare, Tawny and I, we've already purchased our airfare tickets and it's around $355 right now. So I'd recommend that you get on it. And then with other costs, think of personal equipment such as water bottles, maybe flags of your own, maybe even bags to pack in. And then also you'll have to have food and drink as well while you're out at Gable.
All right. We know that this recording doesn't give us the opportunity to do live questions, but we certainly want people to feel free to ask those questions at any point. So as we send this out to you via email, as we post it on Facebook, please feel free to engage back with us, whether it's in comments or shooting an email back to me. I want to make sure that we get these questions answered for you. We'll do our best as a group to keep you informed on the events that are coming up next and ensure that you have all the information you need to make an informed decision about trying out or playing with the team in Gables. So I'd like to give the group an opportunity to round out with anything they want to share before we sign off.
Well, I guess I'll go first. This is really about building Dallas to match up with the rest of the cities around the country and, like we said, internationally that are already participating in this. Dallas is and North Texas is a big football community. So it's just our chance to show the Wild Bunch is ready to play with everybody else on the NGFFL level. It's a great community. It's a great time. It's been one of the best experiences that I've had so far. Coming out into the LGBTQIA community, it's been important for me. And just making these connections, not only within my local community, but nationally, and meeting other players and other people who enjoy the sport of flag football has been a great thing. And we are the Wild Bunch, so.
Well, I will go next and just talk about how excited I am, especially for those that have not done DFFL or NGFFL before, to go through this experience with y'all the first time and learn everything about how wonderful this community is and get to grow my community of LGBTQIA individuals and just expand Dallas's reach of just how wonderful this community is. And so I'm very excited about that.
And kind of piggyback on what Alyx and Maurice was saying, playing in, some of these tournaments is incredible. And you do truly build connections with folks, all across the country. There's been times I've been, I was in Mexico and someone shouted my name, and it was someone who I competed against in one of these tournaments 3 years ago. And so you just never know who you're going to run into. But if you're someone who likes football, who wants to be part of a team and is excited to, meet people in Dallas and be able to represent Dallas, and you want to be committed to something, and come out and compete in flag football, we would love to have you come out and tryouts. Highly encourage you to tell you've got friends, family, who would like to join. Please share this with them, and we look forward to seeing you guys out there.
Awesome. Alyx, Taylor, Maurice, thank you so much for all the hard work you've put into this, and we hope to see everybody on the field. Have a great night.